In the previous video, we saw that on iOS, we were getting the desired outcome. We were seeing the safe area view allow us to dodge the top and the bottom portion of the status bar and the interaction portion that is the swipe gesture. But then on Android, we saw that the safe area view really wasn't doing very much for us. And we asked ourselves the question, why, Mo? Why? Well, let me tell you why. In effect, safe area view is only for iOS. Mo, I read this. You told me to read this. I read this. Like, don't beat a dead horse. I get it. But what I'm trying to get at here is we need a different solution for Android. And so that different solution is we need to make sure that this safe area view takes into account that padding, that margin. So how do we go about that? Well, we could give it a margin top and we could say like 50, and then it's going to go 50. Oh, but that really doesn't feel right because now it's going 50 over here. Like if I did 500 here, you're going to see it's going to change on iOS and Android. We don't want it to change on both. So if we did 30, well, we could do that. And oh, that doesn't really feel right. Maybe 20. You're playing a guessing game. And well, you can play that guessing game and you could import something like platform from React Native, right? And we could do something like, well, if you are Android, right, is Android is equal to platform.os equal to Android. This is all lowercase. So this is a check where we're checking like basically, hey, are we running on Android or iOS? And we could do like an inline check and we could say like, well, if you're Android, question mark, this is starting an inline if, do 20, otherwise do 0. So this is an inline if statement, right? This is checking like if we're Android, do 20, otherwise do 0. And so right now we can see that this works because if we set this to 500, well, only Android is going to change. Okay, so do we play the guessing game then? I mean, this doesn't feel right because the status bar over here, it has different heights on different machines, right? Like on different Android machines, the status bar may be different or different device pixel densities and all this stuff that goes into account. So how do we go about this? Okay, well, let's slow it down. Our problem is the status bar. So let's go look at status bar. Okay, and if we go look at status bar, we can see that we're using it with the navigator. Okay, good. We're using a different implementation. We're using the Expo status bar, but let's see what the React Native status bar is giving us. And we see here a reference. Okay, so let's look at that reference. So in that reference, we can see that, well, we have constants, and those constants are current height, which is Android only. Okay. What does this say? The height of the status bar. The height of the status bar. Current height, and it's Android only. Interesting. Okay. So what does that do for us? Well, we have status bar that we're importing here from Expo status bar. And we need to import status bar from React Native, the React Native package over here, right? So how are we going to do that? Well, we can rename the Expo status bar by doing something that is the rename action in an import. If you type as, and then you say Expo status bar, then we can rename the reference down here, and we can say Expo status bar. Okay, so now we need this property current height from React Native. So what we're going to do is we're going to import status bar from React Native, right? Status bar. And we're going to do something crazy. First of all, we're going to remove this margin top here real quick. And I want you to see something. We're going to console log status bar dot current height. And I want you to see what the output is going to be in here. So let's open our terminal. And you can see on iOS, it returned null because it's Android only. But on Android, it returned 24. Interesting. So what that means is that if we take this property, right, and we put it over here inside of the margin top that we had, we're going to be applying the status bar height only to Android. Well, that looks good, doesn't it? Look at that. It's spacing itself correctly inside of Android, and nothing happened to our safe area view on iOS. So we have perfect distance from the status bar on Android and on iOS. So we have our safe area, so to speak, set up correctly for us to start building our feature. Well, isn't that amazing? We're basically set up to know exactly where our content is going to render. And the way that we know this is we can pull up by pressing Command M the element inspector, and we can see in the element inspector that everything is in a right spot. And you can do this on iOS as well by pressing Command Control Z or going to the device and pressing shake. You can pull up the element inspector and we can see where the elements are, what their spacing is, and all of that good stuff. So we know now that we're not interfering with this top and this bottom section. And so press Command Control Z again or Command M to hide the element inspector because you don't always want to show it, right? So you press Command M on Android. The commands are different. If you're doing this on your phone, just shake your phone. Shaking your phone will bring up the menu. So you can use this element inspector to verify that what you're rendering is indeed in the right spot. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, so now that we know all of this and now that Android and iOS are set up in the right spacing proportions, we can start building out our features.